Buckner at first base, Gedman behind the plate, and Oil Can Boyd on the mound.
Dennis Boyd, the Oil Can, 16-10. He was 9-6 here at Fenway Park during the year. And as you probably know, if you followed the game at all, extremely high-strung. In fact, they tell us that John McNamara even has a signal from the bench telling the Can to cool it. He didn't throw as hard this year as he did last year. The key to his success is if he keeps the ball down. And among other things, with a good straight change and a curve, he also has a screwball, but it wouldn't really be called so much of a screwball as, let's say, he turns over the change.
He's got 6 pitches, really, Ben. Fastball, curve, slider, screwball, and turns it over. He's got the straight change. He can sink his fastball, and he rides it. Bill Fisher says that he's got great natural ability, and he just doesn't go to one particular pitch when he's in trouble. He goes against some of the pitching basics because he rocks, but nobody's going to change him the way he's pitching. And, of course, he's got that thing that Satchel Paige always called the yellow hammer, which is the overhand curveball, and that's a good out pitch for him.
He's built like the hour hand on your watch, and when he went to spring training in March, he checked in at 133 pounds. Well, they made tests on his liver, found he had non-contagious hepatitis, and he has puffed up now to 156. The Can spent last night with his in-laws in East Providence, Rhode Island, 43 miles away from Boston.
There you see that overhand curveball that he throws, and he comes right over the top. He's got a little bit of a hesitation pitch in there. I tell you, he is a big Satchel Paige admirer, and one of the things I love, he said, some of the advice that Satch gave him, he said, keep the pitch in the strike zone, but away from the bat.
One other thing about Oil Can Boyd, as we take a look at his delivery, you will notice when he was interviewed on the pregame show, he was wearing glasses. But when he pitches, he does not wear glasses, nor does he wear contact lenses.
I asked Rich Gedman about that, if he does anything special as far as his signs. He says, no, I don't like to do that, and he will cross me up a few times even tonight.
Well, Can said that he remembers pitching in a minor league game where he crossed up the catcher 30 times in 80 pitches because he couldn't see the signs, misinterpreted them. However, I guess that's another good way of keeping the hitters loose.
And the catcher, and the umpire, and the vendors.
In the park. Well, here's Lenny Dykstra, followed by Wally Backman and then Keith Hernandez. And here we go. Wade Boggs playing up inside the bag on the edge of the grass. And the Can is ready. Ball 1. Sitting up here, and it might not be quite as obvious on our screens, but the infield grass is cut almost in concentric circles. It looked like the mound was a pond and it had received a pebble. 1-1. There you can see some of the tracks. Whether that will influence a ball or not remains to be seen.
I talked to Joe Mooney about that, Vin. He says it's just the tires on the mower. But along third base, there are some ridges, and Dykstra and Backman really have to keep it going as far as getting the Mets started.
1 ball, 1 strike. High drive down the right field line, hooking in the corner. If it's fair, it's gone. It's gone. Lenny Dykstra takes Oil Can deep, and the Mets lead 1-0.
That's the kind of thing a ball club needs. You get picked up, they jump out 1 man, 1 run, and that whole ball club, you can see that Met bench is waiting for him.
That was the first extra base hit by the Mets in the World Series. So Dykstra gets the Mets out in front 1-0. And Wally Backman, always a threat to bunt, particularly with Buckman on that bad leg over at first base.
Barrett has shortened up at second base. He'll be trying to protect him as much as he can because he'll try to drag it past Oil Can. And Oil Can just pointed to Boggs, be alive.
Ball 1, 1-0. Lenny Dykstra convinced now that it's in the seats officially. One ball and no strikes. The plate umpire is Harry Wendelstedt of the National League. Then you have Brinkman, Montague, and Ford with Kibler and Evans on the line. Backman followed by Keith Hernandez. Two balls and one strike.
That home run by Dykstra is the first time the Mets have been ahead in this series.
And it took a little muscle from an unexpected quarter to provide us with the situation. Two balls and one strike. Ball three, and he's in dangerous territory, pitching high. We have a quick chance to look at the dimensions of the ballpark and some of the angles. 315 down the line. There's the monster, 37 feet high with a 23-foot screen atop it, falling away to 379. The deepest part is 420, the triangle, the V. 380 to straightaway right, and then right down the right field line. 3-1. So Backman goes all the way. A beautiful evening here in New England. Temperature, I guess, around 60. And there's a line drive, base hit into right field. Sounded like the bat cracked at least. It didn't break, but Backman singles, and the batter now will be Keith Hernandez.
It's a fastball. He just pulls it into right field. And Oil Can kind of regrouping as he walks around the mound. Two batters, two base hits.
So a home run by Dykstra, a single to right by Wally Backman, and now that brings up Keith Hernandez, a .310 hitter who was 33 yesterday. Hernandez with Gary Carter to follow.
That bat did split. I just saw Gedman go out and take some of the bat to the kind of split at the on the fat part, the barrel of the bat.
I could hear it. It sounded like that old song, Celery Stalks at Midnight. 1-0. Oil Can Boyd, it has been quite a year for him, winning his 16. If you remember, he was suspended July 10th, hospitalized July 17th, returned to the team on August 1st. And apparently, his displeasure over the fact he was not selected for the All-Star team. And it is interesting to think that because the Red Sox have won the American League pennant, who do you think will select the pitchers for the 1987 All-Star game for the American League? You got it, John McNamara.
Boyd has fallen behind every hitter.
1-0. Pretty good fastball. That's about as hard as he can throw right there.
You would think the Mets, even though they want to get something started with Backman, are going to give Hernandez at least a chance to try to pull that ball. And although he's taking a good look now at Buddy Harrelson.
1 ball and 1 strike. The count to Keith Hernandez. Time call for the moment as Backman trying to clear off the runway off first base.
Might be a bit soft there. The Red Sox do not have a whole lot of speed. You certainly wouldn't want to make it a fast strike for them as we look at Dykstra and Kevin Mitchell, but maybe make it a little bit soft and slow it down for the Mets.
1 ball and 1 strike to Keith. The Can has a high set. He doesn't set around the belt buckle. That set, his hands were together up around the letters, and then he was trying to fool Backman with his head. When he goes set, there's not much to hide behind. And they pitch out that time. And Backman still holding, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike. We're just warming up. First inning, Len Dykstra homered, Wally Backman singled, and the batter is Keith Hernandez. 1-0 Mets. Foul foul off to the left and out of play, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. We mentioned earlier the coaches with Bill Robinson at first and Buddy Harrelson at third. And there could be a lot of pressure on the judgment of Buddy Harrelson. You remember Moose Stubing and Bobby Gritch. And there's Harrelson. You might check his relationship to the coaching box, trying to get a good angle, especially on a ball that's hit down the left field line. Right field line, he'll start to come towards the plate. And that's hit up the alley in left center. Going over to cut it off is Rice. Backman is not stopping, and he goes to third. And the Mets are in business, first and third, and nobody out, with Carter, Strawberry, and Knight coming up.
Looks like a fastball the outside part of the plate, and Hernandez, who can go to the opposite field and hit it hard. Once Backman at first base saw Rice have to go over to left center field, there was no way he was going to stop at second base because he knew he had the easy way to get to third.
Bill Fisher talking to his manager, and now John coming out. So McNamara going out to discuss with Oil Can just what's going on. He has thrown one pitch that you might say he threw hard, and that was that strike to Keith Hernandez. There has not been any stuff at all otherwise, and he's been dangerous because he's been up and his strength is down.
He's relied mostly on that fastball, and he has fallen behind the hitters, and I'm sure he's saying, fine, I feel okay, I just don't know what's happening.
You know, it's interesting, too. Everyone has gone back to the history books talking about Kansas City losing the first 2 games and coming back. If you remember, the 3rd game last year was pitched by another colorful character, Joaquin Andujar.
Game 6 was a rough start for Oil Can. Remember, he settled down, so maybe that's what John McNamara is looking for. But he's got to get ahead of these hitters, or he's going to be having line drives hit off him all night long, or at least as long as he stays out there.
Keith Hernandez standing at first. Wally Backman down the line from third, and here is Gary Carter. 0-1. Carter, as we have talked about, has been hitting a lot of balls up the middle. They try to shade him that way. He got himself into a dreadful slump in the Houston series. One reason being he was trying to pull everything, and in taking his stride into the pitch, he was landing on his heel. That opened him up, and his head would bounce, and he was really losing the outside pitch completely. 0-1. And he hammers it to left center, and that's going for a base hit into the wall. Backman will score. Hernandez to third, and Carter into second with a double, and the can is leaking in the first inning. Gary Carter, on a team that did not have an extra base hit in the first 2 games, they produce a home run and a double in the first inning. And now, with first base open, Darryl Strawberry will be the batter. Sammy Stewart is the long man. He's first up. There he is in an area that will forever be called Williamsburg. That bullpen was established in 1940 when the kid came here, Ted Williams.
Carter's ball is well hit. Nothing fluky about it. It's in the gap. Henderson plays it off the wall.
So now Strawberry, who has had such a bad time, he has struck out 16 times in 8 postseason games, with a chance to get well and get well in a hurry. First base open. On the corner. Hernandez at third, Carter at second, and nobody out in the first inning. Strawberry, the 5th man to come to the plate. Put on an absolutely awesome show in batting practice, but that was batting practice.
Two good fastballs, one on the outside part of the plate and one high. Had something on it. Carter trying to tell him, get that ball down, get a strike to hit.
No balls and 2 strikes. Got him just low. Just missed the knees. 1-2.
Interesting. No breaking balls, no off-speed pitches. Another fastball. This is the pitch that he's been taking low inside, but it's out of the strike zone. Good pitch with 2 strikes. He can work on it.
1-2 to Darrell. Fouled off. On deck, Ray Knight. The Mets have scored twice on a home run, 2 singles and a double. They have runners at second and third, nobody out, and a hungry hitter at the plate. Foul back. The Red Sox have been a hot ball club. Remember, they come into this game having won 5 straight. John McNamara seeing his team come from 3-1 down to win the LCS. Davey Johnson's club had to scramble to get here after having won 108. In the dirt. The Mets trying to come back, and they're leading here in the first inning 2-0. 2-2 to Strawberry. Ball 3. Looked like he tried to turn that over, tried to get him with a screwgee on the corner, but it danced away. Take another look at it.
You can see Getman try to frame it, keeping that glove in his strike zone, but she drifts outside, and he holds it there. But Harry Wendelstedt says, nope, outside.
3-2 to Darrell Strawberry. Second and third, nobody out.